But the wedding cake viburnum is producing flowers in January. This is them. Now they are only small flowers, but it's extraordinary because normally it flowers every year. Flowers late April or in May. Flowers are usually gone before the 1st of June. No flowers for the rest of the year. But I'm told that certain trees, usually apple trees and things like that, when they get old and they're going to die, they start producing loads and loads of flowers in an attempt to reproduce. So that might be what's happening here. I'm not sure. But tiny flowers all over it, and it hasn't a leaf. And here they are, like little flower buds, and they're coming out everywhere. You can see it's a very bare tree. That's another winter mystery, but maybe it's at its end. It's hard to know. Now, we've had some very thick ice this morning, very frosty conditions, and it's January, so you expect that. But here's a dandelion flowering, and wherever there's a bit of shelter, usually they'll have 1 or 2 dandelions flowering. But of course they won't have their proper flowering until later in the spring. And this is an American plant known as bear's breeches. I'm not actually sure what the proper name is, but it died completely down and went under the ground. Then when it got cold in the autumn, and then it warmed up over Christmas week, and now it has big lush leaves, really big leaves, by the way. I mean, look at the size of those leaves, and they've all come out of the ground. Is this a sign of an early spring? I don't know. Or is it just a big mistake caused by weird mild weather happening for a week and a half at Christmas? So here's the naturalized sweet pea coming out of the ground at the base of a hedge where it completely died off in the cold autumn, and so it looks like the mild weather brought them up. And here, unfurling this leaf here, this is the cuckoo point, or the spotted arum maculatum, also known as lords and ladies. This is the one that gets the orange berries in late summer and autumn, and it has when the flower comes out in the spring, it smells like a drain that has opened and attracts flies. But they've lovely leaves here, these arrow shaped leaves, and that one's already unfurled, and there's another one beside it. So a lot of things are coming out now, although these are in a very, very sheltered space. And yeah, these are the last flowers now. You can see these are going to turn into big purple berries at the base of the flowers, but these are the last flowers of the mahonia, which kept the bees fed in December. But probably lasts another week or so. Those will swell up and turn into berries. And of course here you have that famous thing is happening. This is ivy, and ivy is unusual because it flowers in autumn when everything else flowers in spring, and it produces its berries in spring when everything else produces its berries in autumn. But a lot of birds depend on it, and these have yet to go black and be ripe. There's actually 1 or 2 little flies around and a few bees. You can hear a bee humming in there somewhere. So that's pretty interesting. Here's the common ground bee. Yeah, the buff-tailed bumblebee. But there's also white-tailed bumblebees, and they were usually considered flying in winter first, but those seem to be the buff-tails. And it'll be a queen probably. There doesn't seem to be any workers at this time of year, but we could be wrong. Feeding on mahonia. Now this is a grassland or grass-like plant called Montbretia, and it dies back completely in the autumn and goes underground, and then you see in springtime these grass-like leaves come up, and it gets very thick, and it has big long flower spikes with beautiful red flowers on the end of it. But these are already coming out in January, although admittedly it could be quite warm down there. But this is all caused, I'm pretty sure, by the freak weather we had for Christmas week. and it went cold again then in New Year's last week, or just this week. Has to be very cold next week, so we'll see what way it goes. Oh, this is crazy. That's honesty flowering in January. You don't expect to see that. You can see the seed pods here. It's amazing. It's in a very sheltered place though, but it's mad that it's flowering. It may not, it's possible it's been flowering non-stop. Those are pods there, seed pods of honesty. Beautiful plants. There's something I really didn't expect to see. This is oxalis, the wild oxalis, which was, there's some debate over whether or not this is the original shamrock, because it is trifoliate. But you can eat the stems. Irish people apparently in the famine used to eat the stems. A bit bitter, but not too bad. And here we have, oh, I thought that was a flower, but it's not. These are primroses, ordinary wild primrose, and they've erupted from what used to be a meadow, which is my front garden.